Yes, Mr. President. Yes.
Senator Milne. Order. Just a moment, Senator Milne. On both sides, Senator Cameron, Senator MacDonald. Order. Order on both sides. Senator Milne.
President, my question is for the Minister representing the Minister for the Environment, Senator Birmingham. And I ask, is the Minister aware the Tasmanian Government has approved logging in critical nesting habitat areas for the EPBC-listed endangered swift parrot, and that that's been approved in direct contravention of expert scientific advice, and the advice was that logging will not support the conservation of the species? Minister, is the government happy to stand by and watch the swift parrot logged to extinction?
Order. Order on my right. Order. Order on my right. The Assistant Minister for Education and Training representing the Minister for the Environment, Senator Birmingham.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank Senator Milne for the question. Senator Milne would well understand and appreciate, having been around these debates for a very, very long period of time, regional forest agreements operate in a manner to provide balance between environmental, social and economic outcomes for regional communities. These arrangements are in place in Tasmania, as I understand it, align with the Regional Forest Agreement, and of course they have certain exemptions under the EPBC Act that has long been the case since that Act's existence. Now, if there is evidence to suggest that forestry operations contravene the Tasmanian Regional Forestry Agreement, then those are rightly matters for the Tasmanian Government. But, Mr. President, it is certainly this government's position that we want to see economic advancement in Tasmania. We want to see the creation of opportunities there, but we also want to ensure the preservation of endangered species. Our policies are all about making sure that we preserve the jobs in Tasmania as well as the threatened species in Tasmania, and we're confident that that is what the Tasmanian Government is seeking to do as well. Now, as a government, we have taken steps in relation to threatened species protection through the appointment of a Threatened Species Commissioner, which has been welcomed by outfits such as BirdLife Australia, who have praised that and acknowledged the potential there, that, and I'll quote from BirdLife Australia, "A champion for threatened species within government will help to ensure our recovery efforts and funding programs are more strategic and, importantly, throw a lifeline for Australia's threatened birds." We're serious about working in this space, but we are just as serious about making sure that jobs and opportunity continue to exist and exist in greater abundance in the future in a state like Tasmania.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Milne, a supplementary question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So is the minister saying that the Commonwealth has abrogated all responsibility for threatened species because of the regional forest agreements? And if not, will you now move in to actually stop the logging of this critical nesting habitat? And secondly, will you stop the automatic rollover of the forest agreements? Now we know they're a complete and total failure when it comes to protecting threatened species.
Order on my right. Order. Minister.
Thanks, Mr. President. Senator Milne does like to come to this place and play judge, jury and executioner when it comes to the full assessment on these debates, and clearly her word is final in these matters. But, Mr. President, that is not the case. Firstly, as I said in the original answer, and Senator Milne should appreciate this, the Regional Forest Agreements act outside, in a sense, of the terms of the EPBC Act. So, Senator Milne, you appreciate how that works. You have every capacity through the Greens to prosecute your arguments in Tasmania with the Tasmanian Government if you wish. This government is serious about supporting Tasmania in the creation of new jobs and new economic activity, but taking our responsibilities seriously for the protection of threatened species, and that is exactly what we will continue to do with our policies, but without it being to the detriment of the future of the Tasmanian economy.
Thank you, Minister. Final supplementary, Senator Milne.
Thank you, Mr President. Will the minister now accept that handing Commonwealth responsibility to protect matters of national significance to the environment back to the states is a pathway to their destruction, given that the Tasmanian government has logged these areas in contravention of scientific advice?
Order. Minister.
Emphatically not, Mr President. Emphatically not. We all know that the Greens would not be satisfied until every logging activity in the country were brought to a halt. We all know that the Greens would not be satisfied until all jobs in these industries were pushed out of existence. We all know that in terms of extinction, the people the Greens want to make extinct are industries like the logging industry, are jobs like those of people in the logging industry. Mr President, we want to make sure that the nation's environmental laws work in the most efficient and effective way possible. That's about reducing red tape, which is exactly why our one-stop-shop proposal is the right way to go, to make sure we have the least amount of red tape when it comes, or green tape when it comes to projects being approved, the maximum opportunity for jobs and projects to go ahead, as long as there are safe, sound environmental safeguards, which there absolutely will be under us.
Thank you, Minister. The time for answering the question has expired.